It's a mission that began 12 months ago. Run it back. And after compiling the best regular season record in franchise history and successfully defending their AFC title, there's just one thing left to do as the Chiefs take on the Buccaneers in Super Bowl 55. The Chiefs will be just the 18th team in NFL history to play in 2 or more consecutive Super Bowls, and just the 4th team in the last 20 years to do so. Kansas City will look to become the 9th team to win consecutive championships and the first in 16 seasons. At the core of both postseason runs over the last 2 seasons is of course Patrick Mahomes, who is set to become the youngest quarterback in NFL history to start multiple Super Bowls. Mahomes has won 5 straight playoff games, and his 17 career postseason touchdowns are the most in league history through 7 playoff games. He's coming off another strong performance in the AFC Championship game, throwing for 325 yards and 3 touchdowns. Mahomes has now thrown for at least 290 yards and 3 scores without an interception in 4 career postseason games, matching Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers for the most in NFL history. Mahomes will surely be looking for both Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce in this one, as those two have combined for 38 catches, 509 receiving yards, and 3 touchdowns during this playoff run. Mahomes found Hill and Kelce for a combined 351 yards the last time these two teams played earlier this season, and Hill in particular had 13 grabs for 269 yards and 3 touchdowns. That trio has found so much success this postseason that the Chiefs have only punted once. But in order to keep things rolling on Super Sunday, Mahomes will need to avoid the Buccaneers' pass rush. Tampa Bay tallied 48 sacks this season, the 4th most in the NFL, and pressured the opposing quarterback on 28% of dropbacks, the 3rd highest rate in the league. That effort is anchored by defensive ends Shaq Barrett and Jason Pierre-Paul, who combined for 5 sacks against Green Bay in the NFC Championship game. On the other side of the ball, the Bucs are led by the timeless Tom Brady, who threw for more than 4,500 yards and 40 touchdowns this season at 43 years old. His favorite target all year long was unsurprisingly wide receiver Mike Evans, who hauled in 70 grabs for just over 1,000 yards and 13 touchdowns this season. What's been interesting about Brady this year has been his usage of the deep ball. He led the NFL this season with 91 passing attempts of at least 20 or more intended air yards, the most of his career. His success on those throws has varied. He completed nearly half of his deep passes through his first 7 games, then fell into a 1-for-19 stretch mid-season. Brady finished strong, completing more than half of those throws over his final 5 games of the regular season, but he's 4 of 17 on deep throws in his last 2 games, with interceptions on 3 deep passes against Green Bay. The key to slowing down Brady is pressure. With no pressure this season, including the playoffs, Brady is completing 70% of his throws and averaging more than 8 yards per attempt with 43 touchdowns. But when pressured, his completion percentage falls to just 42%, and he's thrown 6 interceptions with just 4 touchdowns. The Chiefs pressured Bills quarterback Josh Allen on 47% of his dropbacks last week, the highest mark in a postseason game since ESPN began tracking the stat 10 years ago, and they'll be looking for similar production on Sunday. Lastly, the matchup between Mahomes and Brady in this one is historic. This will be the first Super Bowl ever that features each of the last 2 Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. And it's also the first ever Super Bowl matchup between quarterbacks who have each won an NFL MVP award and Super Bowl MVP honors. It sets the stage for a truly epic clash between perhaps the greatest quarterback of all time in Tom Brady and the player who's off to the greatest start in NFL history in Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs have taken everyone's best shot all season long, including a victory over the Buccaneers back in Week 12, and it's led them back to this moment for a shot at a 2nd straight Lombardi trophy.